John, first of all, congratulations on a very funny and warm movie in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I really enjoyed it. I found it one of the lightest things you've done and at the same time one of the most serious.
Thank you.
It's funny, and yet there seems to be a very serious message in it.
Yeah, I couldn't bring myself to do just a laugh riot, you know. I wanted to do a comedy. I wanted to do something that was just see how hard and how long I could get people to laugh. But it had to have some substance, you know. And I think one of the reasons the film is as funny as it is because it's about something, you know, that there is a serious foundation to it.
There are two main characters. One is an optimist, one is a pessimist. As the writer of the piece, which one do you identify with the most?
Well, I would certainly love to be the optimist, but I tend to be the pessimist. Those two characters were designed to, I could cover everybody in the world. You're some percentage of one of those two characters. And I think most people will identify with Cameron, but want to be Ferris. You know, I mean, that's the guy you always want to be. Nothing bothers him. Everything rolls off his back.
Ferris is a very attractive hero. He's clever, but he's not a smart aleck. He's resourceful, but he's not exploitative.
Right.
That's really unusual, I think, in young people's pictures today.
Yeah, the thing that was really important to me about Ferris's character is that he does all those, he gets away with things, but he self-regulates. He doesn't use, he's a tremendous charm. He could use that to evil ends, which he doesn't. He knows, he's got a sense, he's got strong values, he's got a good sense of what's right and what's wrong. And I think most kids do anyway, and that was something that was important. I mean, in the midst of this sort of fanciful day off, they go to an art museum, which I think, and that's, you know, that's one of the, when we tested the film, that's one of the favorite scenes, which I think says a lot about the taste and sensibilities of a young audience.
Here you have young people who take the day off from school. They don't get into a food fight. They don't destroy property. They don't peep at girls. It's
How
really
can it make any money?
Why don't you tell me a little bit? Your films always are a little bit different than the typical youth film, I think. Why don't you tell me, or can you tell me the difference between your approach to making a youth film and, say, the general traditional Hollywood approach?
I try to make them as real as I can. And I have never known anybody that was in a food fight or peeked on girls in a shower at school. You know, it's like, I don't think that's, stuff happens. In my pictures, I think, it's all speculation, appeal to people because they see a little of themselves in it. And, you know, I think they fairly accurately portray you know, the human condition in middle America. And I think that a lot of these pictures don't, you know, they're sort of a 35-year-old guy's view of what he wishes high school had been. And they don't really connect with anything.
What's your secret to connecting? I mean, you're not a teenager anymore.
I'm 17.
Mentally?
You know, listen, I mean, a good writer should know his subject. And I've gone out of my way to try and understand what that age is. I mean, I have to go back, I went through it, so I had to refresh my memory. And you know, it's a matter of just respecting an audience and giving them their due, giving them what they deserve, which is an accurate portrayal of their lives.
I wonder if we can quickly go through your career, the films that you've worked on, starting with National Lampoon's Vacation as the screenwriter. How did you approach it? How do you remember the project?
A lot of rewrites. I worked on it for a long time. It was based on a short story. I remember sitting and watching the rough cut. It was great because it was like, boy, this is my dad. That's my dad, blowing his top, you know, with a dead ant on the roof. You know, I mean, it was just, it was really fun, and I loved seeing what Chevy did with it. Same thing with Mr. Mom, seeing what Keaton did with that. It was a lot of fun because there was a lot of autobiographical material in that. What else?
16 Candles?
16 Candles was my first one. So that was 32 days of sweat. And I just, you know, it was over before it began. And never having been on a movie set, it was really interesting.
I guess the most acclaimed so far is Breakfast Club. You happy with the way it was received?
Yeah, I was happy for the positive reviews and the negative reviews, because the negative reviews said as much to me about the film and this type of film than anything else, and sort of inspired me to continue making them. You know, you get this sense that, well, you know, that they're, somebody's 17, they should not have films made specifically for them. You know, it's for some reason, a lot of people threatened by that.
Weird Science is a picture of yours, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people knocked it. You've
Right.
had a great number of successes. This one was maybe one of them, although I have to admit I enjoyed it very much. I got into the trick of it, I guess, or...
Yeah, I mean, it was about a different side of things, you know. It was about those guys that just never leave the house. It has its moments. It was a difficult one to make, and, you know, I got the urge to deal with fantasy out of my blood, so...
Was it as bad as the critics said?
No, I don't think so. I mean, its success in video cassettes, I think, sort of vindicated it a little bit. I mean, it has its moments. The great thing about video cassettes is you can go, whoop. That's a funny scene. Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, there's not a sequel. What else I can say? It was compared to Godfather, and you know, with certain qualifications.
Pretty in Pink.
I was real happy with Pretty in Pink, and the response to it and its success was really exciting, because you know, nobody really had much, you know, sort of like rooting for the runt of the litter. You know, here's this little tiny picture that was made really, you know, for a very small audience, and it found a pretty big audience. I think there was a lot of satisfaction. That was the first one I produced, so I had to teach myself to lay off in certain areas, which was a struggle. And I was very proud of the soundtrack. And we had a, you know, the album was really successful, and launched a number of bands, which I sort of love that. I mean, that's my favorite thing about Weird Science, to see Oingo Boingo on the charts. You know, so,
The music is good in the
it.
pictures, consistently good.
I pay a lot of attention to that.
I've used up my time, but could you very quickly tell me what's in the future for you?
July 30th, Some Kind of Wonderful starts shooting. Martha Coolidge is going to direct my script. I'm going to produce it. And then I'll start another one in September.
You work hard.
It's all play.